Not live, or we are live. We actually are live on TikTok. Trying to go live on YouTube and Twitch and everywhere else right now, guys. Tonight, welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking Russia and Ukraine. I know it's a really hot topic right now. Everybody knows it's a hot topic right now. It's been taking over TikTok. Everybody knows. So Sam and I are here.
Hold on a second. What the fuck am I listening to?
So Sam and I are listening to me.
What the fuck am I listening to?
So Sam and I are listening to me.
Hold on. What the fuck am I listening to?
Sam can hear himself, guys.
Hold on.
He's having a psychological.
Well, hold on, we gotta take a break on the YouTube at least. Give me a second.
Vicious attacks.
Hello.
Bombings, threats, vicious attacks. But
hello.
Bombings, we've seen a lot of attacks, but
hello.
Things that we don't really know are true, right?
Hello.
Like we have a TikTok on this. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to burn time right now. We have a TikTok whole thing. Sam, of course, having technical.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
That's what it is.
No, I did not have the video on as well, Jeff. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Not Safe for Air, episode, what is it now, 4?
Yes.
Today, I didn't ruin the entire beginning of the stream. For those of you not watching live, I'm going to edit that out entirely.
Perfect. And we are getting ready to go live on TikTok as well. I'm resetting that back up. For anyone that can't stay by the computer and they're on their way to work, going for that 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock shift, you can always put it on TikTok, throw it on your lap. Listen, don't look, but you can listen.
Yeah, don't look. You know, I probably
just like you could on YouTube, to be honest with you. Just watch us fucking anywhere.
Right. So today we're going to get into some weird and wild stuff. Not really, because today we're talking about Ukraine. Not typically what we usually cover on here. But obviously it's everywhere. And there's a lot of disinformation going around about what's going on in the Ukraine, or should I say Ukraine? Because I believe I was educated, and I think this is what it was, that the Ukraine, they do not like when you use that.
They don't like when you say the Ukraine.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to say Ukraine. Here, let me get the music going for everybody here. But
why is that, do you think?
I think saying the Ukraine gives it possession to Russia in a way, because that's what the area was called when they were owned during the Soviet Union.
It was called the Ukraine.
I think that's what it was. I guess just starting out right off the bat, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's what it was.
All right. Hey guys, some people are starting to pour in on the TikTok. We're going to say what's up to everybody. We are doing a stream on Russia and Ukraine, kind of understanding the backstory here. We're going to take a deep dive into where it all started from. Why the heck does Putin want it back? You know, why has it had such a violent history? Let's take a deep dive, shall we, Sam?
Sure. And also to clarify what I was saying there, Ukraine, you call it Ukraine, not the Ukraine, because Ukraine, without the, declares like independence, basically. At least to the
Fair
people
enough.
of Ukraine.
So, going back into the history of the Ukraine at the time, right? The first modern state in Russia actually was Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine.
Kiev.
Back at Kiev, yeah. I mean, I've heard so many people say it so many different ways. Kiev, though. We'll say Kiev. So, 862 AD is what we're looking at for kind of like the start of all this stuff. And it was started by some guy, the ruler of Novgorod. His name was King Rurik of the Rus, where he conquered Kyiv, right? And started the kingdom. So some fun fact that Ukraine has been around for a very long time, so to speak. And it's very connected to Russia, which we're going to get into a little bit later. So Ukraine is a country, obviously, in Eastern Europe. It's the second largest country in the area in Europe after Russia. So it borders that to the east and the northeast. Ukraine also borders Belarus in the north, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary to the west, Romania, Moldova, and to the south, Moldova, yeah. It's coastline to the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea, right? So a lot of these actually were part of Soviet Russia, which we're going to get into. So when it comes to Russia, we'll start right here, guys. We'll start at following the revolution of 1917. Sam, what was that revolution about, buddy? I know you're a history buff.
The Russian Revolution?
Yeah.
Oh, god damn, man. Well, it was basically the communist revolution of Russia, if I know the one that you're talking about. I'm not a master of Russian history, but from my knowledge, it was when basically the people rose up against the royal family of Russia, the Tsar. I think it was Tsar Nicholas II. For any manner of things that would take us forever to get into this little slice of the story. But basically it just had to do with how they were running the country. About, what year was this, 1917?
1917.
Correct. 1917, because of World War I, they didn't want to even be involved in that many of the people. Also to a lesser extent, but historically a greater extent, Rasputin. Jeff, do you know about Rasputin?
Tell me about him.
Rasputin had a huge part to play in that, allegedly, even though God knows if that was really the case. He was like a mystic medicine man that people believed had the ear of the king and queen, and they didn't like that, so they murdered him. And then after the revolution, the royal family was moved to an estate where they were then all like brutally executed. And from that moment on, they basically became a communist state, and that led all the way up to World War II, which I don't know what your timeline is, Jeff, but that went up to World War II when obviously Joseph Stalin was in power. He dies like 10 years later. And then yada, 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 that power struggle that happens after, not even after, during World War II between the Russians and the United States as they, both work to get to Berlin. You then have the fallout where you get East and West, what was it, East and West Berlin and East and West Germany?
Yes.
So literally during World War II, you got this big conflict where Russia went from being this, what do you call it, monarchy, I suppose, before 1917, to in the years between becoming a communist state.
It was like a empire.
Yeah, the Russian Empire, whatever. To then, during World War II and then afterwards, with the, Japan and Germany being basically exterminated, the two powers emerged in the world, which were the United States and the Soviet Union. And whereas the United States did not keep control of, like France or any of these countries. They, gave it back to France. Russia was like, well, everywhere that we've advanced to, like up into Germany, like all of that's ours. That's where you get the Steel Curtain all the way up to Berlin, I believe it was. I'm not an expert in the geography of Germany, but they capture all of that, which from there on is where we get NATO. And now I'm going to turn it back over to you because I don't know if I'm stepping on your toes too much.
No, that's perfect, man. You filled in so much of the gaps that I was going to go over. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. So NATO, as we know it, it's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, right? So it was created back in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and several other Western European nations to provide, so I say, like a collective security against the Soviet Union at the time. NATO was the first peacetime military alliance that the United States entered into outside of the Western Hemisphere. So I don't want to butcher this, but the leader over in Russia at the time, his decision to allow
what year was it?
Year was this? This was.
Were you saying you don't want to? Did you?
I think it was nice.
You didn't want to butcher his name.
I didn't want to butcher his name. Yeah, Gorbachev or something like that, right?
Gorbachev.
Gorbachev, right?
Yes.
So Gorbachev at the time. So this is, I believe, the Soviet Union fell apart in 1991, but this whole thing kind of started about 2 years prior, right? So 88, 89. Probably his decision to allow the elections with a multi-party system and to create a presidency for the Soviet Union began a slow process of the kind of overall downfall that eventually de-established the communist control, in the Soviet Union. So they lost quite a few states, and half of these actually ended up joining NATO, right? So we have Armenia, Azerbaijan, right?
Well, I can actually pull up a image here that I got pulled up.
Yeah, pull that up. Pull up that image.
Give me 1 second.
So we have, I have down, I think it was 9, right?
What's that?
It was 9 post-Soviet states. So these became their own countries to their own respects, right? So it was on December 1st. While you pull that up, I'll go over this a little bit. So on December 1st, the Ukraine voters overwhelmingly approved referendum, which was formalizing an independence from the Soviet Union. So over 90% of the Ukrainian citizens voted for independence, and the majority in every region, including 56% in Crimea, which had 75% ethnic Russian population. So at this point, they were all trying to kind of get the heck out of here. You know what I mean? With the collapse of the Soviet Union, in 1991, Ukraine became an independent state. It formalized that in December 1991. On I believe it was the 21st of January, 300,000 Ukrainians actually organized a human chain for Ukrainian independence. It was kind of like a big movement. They kind of protested, and then if we look forward to 1999, Poland, Hungary, and the Kazakh Republic joined NATO. So a lot of these places that were part of the Soviet Union, right? And amid much debate about that within the organization and the Russian opposition, another expansion came in with an accusation of 7 Central and Eastern European countries. So Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia. All these are now joining NATO, right? A lot of what we'll say for old-timers at this point in our lives, when we think of, they're just used to their way. Think of the Russians at that point that just lost 9 of their states, these big pieces of their country, right? And especially with Ukraine being the second biggest European country next to Russia, that's a huge chunk, right? And not to forget that the home and the start of Russia was the capital of the Ukraine. So Putin comes into this next.
Well, that was like a long ass time ago, though, wasn't it?
Huh?
Are you talking about Kiev?
Yeah, that was a long ass time ago, but still, you know what I mean? That's like the birthplace of, what was it, Plymouth Rock?
I guess. I mean, if that's what you want to,
right?
I'd say it's probably more like Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, so Philadelphia was the original capital of the United States. But also, I wanted to reference this map that I pulled up here, Jeff.
Sure.
And talk about like the fall of the Soviet Union. Again, this is one of those things that there's so many reasons for. But as you can see in this map that I pulled up here, basically all the way up to Germany, if you can see it on this map, all of this used to be the Soviet Union. So this map doesn't really show it, but right here, if you can see my cursor on the YouTube channel, there's a mountain range. I believe it's the Carpathian Mountains. And then back here behind, or maybe the ones behind back east of Russia are the Carpathians. I don't remember exactly. But basically what you can see here is that the amount of land that Russia lost was extraordinary. And the Ukrainians, besides any amount of patriotism or what have you for wanting to be their own nation, also what can't be forgotten in all of this is the Chernobyl nuclear reactor meltdown that happened in 1986. You know, the Russian government's already failing, because that was the main reason for the breakup of Russia, is that their communist system of living really was not working out. They could not maintain what they had, and it's also been a thing in Russia for a long time that people joke about. You know, everybody jokes about the drunk Russian on the vodka. You know, all they do is like drink vodka and do whatever. But they have one of the highest rates of alcoholism in the entire world, and no, seriously, they do. They have the most amount of deaths from alcohol poisoning. I mean, the country is basically drinking itself to death on a large scale. That's so crazy. They've been having these deep-seated issues in the country, and to even fast forward even more, that is one of the litany of reasons that Russia has decided to invade the Ukraine, because Russia, as an economy that has been shrinking, you know, since then, has been shrinking even more. Their population is going down. Really, what Russia has devolved into is what you would call a petrol state, which is a country that is reliant on resources like fuel, natural gas, oil, what have you. You know, a lot of people, when they think of a petrol state, they think of a place like Saudi Arabia or one of these Middle Eastern countries that most of their GDP comes from oil, right? Right. Well, that is how Russia has been making a lot of their money. They've been sending pipelines, which I don't want to pull up. I'm not going to go through the effort to find the pipelines. Maybe I will later. But they have these pipelines that go through Europe, and one of the most important ones, goes through the Ukraine. Goes in Ukraine, which they've slowly been trying to phase out. But it was also found in, I believe it was 2014, probably way before that. I think I'm quoting that too soon. A bunch of natural gas deposits were found in Ukraine, so that's another reason they want the country back. And
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of rambled past my original point, which was that the Chernobyl nuclear disaster happened in 1986, and that was not handled by I mean, of course, people that worked there were Ukrainians, but all the cover-up, all the nastiness that happened with that was a result of Russia basically not wanting to admit that they fucked up, right?
Right.
And it's also funny to note that one of the first places that they took control of when they invaded was the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which, in case you're wondering, again, I can find a better picture of it, but if you can see on the YouTube, where I have my little magnifying glass over is where that is located. But also, one more thing before I let you go back here, Jeff, is that in no way are we going to present anything that is in defense of Russia. What they're doing is completely wrong. They're invading a sovereign country for no real reason other than they want money and power. That's really all it is. But in their defense, if you can see on this map, the reason I originally pulled it up is because they view NATO as the enemy, basically. They view it as a group of people that are against them ideologically, and if you see in this map, that is a damn lot of blue in Europe. And if Ukraine happened to, before this invasion, join the European Union, then that is just one more plot of land that they have lost complete control of and cannot touch because, of course, NATO is a treaty organization that you attack one of us, we will attack all of you. So
right.
He kind of had his hand forced in a way that right now you have to invade. You cannot let Ukraine become a UN member.
Seriously, I'm glad that you said that, because
Thank
you. Obviously all of that, but what I guess I'm talking about mostly is I'm glad you brought up the fact that, and nothing that we are going to say today is in defense of Russia. We're not saying that any of the attacks were good, or anything that we're about to say or have said so far was right. We're not sympathizing with them. We're just kind of laying down like the history, and we kind of want you guys to just understand both sides.
And one major point that you need to think about when you're talking about the Ukraine-Russia situation, that I've seen so many people on the internet say, like, I've been in those like live chats, I've been on this like crazy, right? Like, just a little nervous Nelly, I'll call myself, like reading about this shit. The people that say that Vladimir Putin is an idiot for invading Ukraine are really shortchanging the fact that this guy is a world leader who, I wouldn't even say he's respected, but the guy knows what he's doing. He's former KGB. Jeff, I'm sure you're going to go into his early, formative years, but to discount somebody with this amount of power is very, very distant. Like, you should not go into any kind of discussion thinking about that. We can all say that Adolf Hitler was a moron, because he was, right? He was just a racist idiot. But the guy did take over a good amount of Europe. He was like threatening the world.
Right.
Like, he wasn't the best military strategist, but people didn't take that guy seriously, and look what the fuck happened. Like, major war. So I think the Americans and obviously NATO, and we've seen from the UN Security Councils that they take this threat seriously, and don't underestimate Putin. But I will say the Ukrainians have been giving him a goddamn good fight so far.
Yeah.
So hopefully they keep that up.
Yeah, stay fighting strong, guys. If this is making it to the Ukraine at all, we stand with you guys. What do you got, media and not safe for air with you? But hey, so we're gonna kind of go into Putin. Sam kind of talked about KGB member. He was a Russian political member. He was a politician. He was former intelligence officer. He's obviously the president of Russia. That position he filled since 2012. So this isn't anything like America, like we're used to, where you have a 4-year term. If they really want you back, you get a second one. This is like a long-term position. And before that, like Sam said, positions of power, right? From 1999 to 2008, he was the prime minister. And then from 99 to 2000, like, again, he did that. And from 2008 to 2012, I know I kind of jumped middle, beginning, and end, but one big thing to kind of take from this, to kind of tie back into the Ukraine problems, is that he absolutely hated the fall of the Soviet Union. He loved it. He loved the Soviet Union. He loved communism. He loved all of that stuff. And he's noted to have been saying that it's the biggest catastrophe of the 20th century, which, like most of you guys know, that there's some other things maybe that happened in the 20th century that might have been bigger than this, but to him, this was the biggest catastrophe, the biggest downfall, the most upsetting thing in his life. You can see why potentially a lot of people can get the notion that he's coming back for even the NATO states. He's coming back for the Ukraine. He wants the capital. He wants all the military bases and all these labs. He wants all these other things, right? Like, just for seeing from the love of what he had for the Soviet Union and what he wants this to become. So, I I don't know, on the 21st of February in 2022, we're going to fast forward to right now. We're going to talk about stuff that's been going on right now. So please, guys in the chat, if you guys want to jump in for a live and, share some stories that you have, some stuff that you've read since we've been live, we would love to learn. But February 21st, 2022, Russia officially recognized the two self-proclaimed separatist states in Donbas and sent troops on the terrorists. So 3 days later, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And we've seen so much all over the news, right? We've seen things that have ended up being false. I even reported here on TikTok and on the Facebook and the Instagram and the YouTube and everything. I talked about those 13 brave soldiers and how they stood up to this Russian battleship and said, "Go fuck yourself." And I just found out that they're still alive.
Which is a good thing.
That is awesome. That is an amazing thing. But why did they think they died? Did they survive the bombing?
I think they might have been captured.
So they were just captured.
Yeah. Probably.
So
also, I pulled a map up here behind us on the YouTube that shows those two states that Putin declared as independent nations, which you can't do that. That's not a thing. But that seems to be the thing that's in Putin's playbook, where he declares an area as an independent state and then moves peacekeepers in there to keep the peace during the transition, which is just a roundabout way to invade a country. It's what he did in Georgia in, 2008? Yeah. I believe that's what he did in Crimea, which you see down here at the bottom. And that's what he did in Donetsk and Luhansk. I've heard these said so many times and I just still can't pronounce them, but it's those two regions above us there.
Right.
And yeah, that's not how world politics works. But the reason he was able to annex it is because for a long time, Russia has been putting instigators into these areas, basically pro-Russian separatists. It's a similar thing that has happened in Moldova as well on that, what do you call it? That border that Ukraine shares with Moldova. There's also separatists on that side too. But this is basically just internal strife that Russia has instigated, and then they use conflicts that happen between these pro-Russian separatists and the Ukrainians to vilify Ukraine. Which is why if you watch their diplomats speak at the UN or whatnot, they say that they are liberating Ukraine and that they cannot allow the evils that happen in Ukraine to go on anymore, which is complete and utter horseshit. It's not real. It's basically just political posturing to say that we're the good guys, you're the bad guys, actually. Which, again, is an interesting-ass strategy. It's something I feel like if I was on Model UN or whatever you call it in high school, I would do that every time. If I was if I was the country of Georgia, I would just tell the Russian representative, nah, dude, you're independent, I'm gonna take you, you're the bad guys, actually. I think that's how you win Model UN. Is it
seriously?
Is it like Risk? Do you just have to acquire every country?
I guess that's what it's got to be, pretty much.
Do you know what the hell I'm even talking about?
Vaguely. I'm not
There's a thing that academics in high school do where they do a Model UN, where it's supposed to be teaching kids debate and politics and whatnot. I never did it, obviously, because I'm speaking from a place of whatever, a 2.0 GPA. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically what it is. It sounds fun to do. Maybe it would be a fun thing to do while I interrupt and completely throw us all the way off topic.
Yeah, thanks for hanging with us, guys, while we ramble. I promise we'll get back on the Ukraine-Russia topic soon.
It would be fun to do a Model UN with all of the viewers that we have. Get 100 people onto one stream and just fucking yell over each other for 5 hours about who owns who.
That would be. You want to do that?
Hell yeah, man. Let me put out these videos I've been working on when we get big on YouTube.
We'll get huge on YouTube.
But anyways, we can get back to Ukraine. Do you want me to pull up any footage or anything that we got?
Yeah. So if you want, let's pull up just pull up just some videos, I guess, of some of the invasion videos.
I was gonna say I want to pull up this video, and before we pull any of this stuff up, I don't feel like we need to say this or anything, but we're not glorifying war in any way by showing these videos.
No, this is just spread of information to people that don't have the access to a proper stream. So all this stuff that we're talking about, this was researched personally by us. We skimmed through tons of different articles and tried to find the most consistently reliable sources. We don't obviously have the entire inside scoop. We're not overseas. We're not getting reports there. Hey, I like our like number, 777. Numbers of God. God's on our side. God's on Ukraine's side. All right.
Does God like that number?
God love. That's the number of God. No. Why would you change it? Who changed it? Now we got to get to 7,777. Guys, let's make that happen.
6,660.
I'll shut the stream down.
Damn, man. There's this video I was trying to find. Let me see if I can find it on my phone and upload it.
So Sam's pulling up a video on the YouTube. So if you guys are over at the YouTube, that's pretty sweet. You guys can pull that over too. If you guys want to join the stream, that'd be pretty dope. Love to get someone in here to co-host. Let's talk about some stuff, share some stuff in the chat.
Yeah, fuck me, right. Anyways, yeah, it's what do you got on YouTube? That's where we're showing all these videos. I know Jeff's showing it on the TikTok, but hop over, what do you got? Just Google what do you got. It'll pop up. We're showing cool ass shit. Well, we would be if I could find this video that I was talking about.
Yes. Hey, thanks for the like, Sarah. We appreciate it.
Sarah.
Damn, yo, BHN, thanks for the follow. We appreciate that too. Damn, we got Vladimir Putin in here himself, throwing up the Ukraine flag. That's crazy. The Russian flag, actually. That crazy, dude.
Somebody's throwing up the Russian flag.
This guy's making TikToks, commenting on TikToks. Vladimir Putin is in the chat, guys. Blow it up. W's in the chat for Vladimir Putin.
I mean, actually, L's in the chat.
L's in the chat for Putin for being on TikTok, bro. You can't have that stuff. All right, so let me jump into this while Sam pulls up some videos so we can talk a little bit about the invasion. I mean, I know most of us have been living and breathing this stuff, especially a lot of us being here on YouTube or on TikTok and Twitch, right? So
here in Ukraine,
Putin and his forces attacked the Ukraine.
What was that?
The Ukraine's government said it faced a full-scale attack. Multiple directions. World leaders were condemned. Vladimir Putin, they like condemned Vladimir Putin's actions, right? So we have the president of the Ukraine hiding, like going into hiding, because he's like target number one, right? Like this guy is straight up the walking embodiment of Ukraine legacy and what they want to be, right? And that is not what Putin wants. He does not want that.
Okay, I got a video. I got one of our first videos here. This one is actually from within the last hour.
Oh, pulling up some videos, guys. Got some live footage. Is that Jeffrey Epstein?
Not live, right? From like an hour ago. But so this guy's reporting from Kiev, or Kiev. I call it Kiev, but I've also heard that that's the Russian way to say it. I don't know. I'm gonna keep saying Kiev, but. So this guy's reporting from Kiev. We don't have any audio to this clip, I don't think. Here, I'll see if... hold on a second. Oh, don't look at the...
Want me to dub it?
Don't look at the sausage. Nah, let's not make fun of this guy, I think.
Yeah, let's not dub it.
Yeah, let's not dub that one, Jeff. Here we go. Okay, I think we got audio too.
Ukraine. Elaine?
Look at that shit.
What the hell was that?
I missed it. Do it again. It's crazy.
I actually didn't watch the whole video, so I think there might be another explosion.
It's almost like lightning.
There was like a giant flash in the background that you see.
Jeez, 'em. Wow.
Yeah. So this was about an hour ago in Kiev. then you hear, it must have been a little far away because you hear that shockwave come in if you got your, if my headphone gangs on it.
To see the flash.
Okay. So that was that. There's a video I was trying to find though specifically about an explosion that happened.
We're at the airport. Are you talking about downtown? Hit that building, blew up a bunch of cars.
I'm talking about like the massive explosion that happened.
The massive explosion.
I think it was like a.
What do you guys know about any massive explosions? You guys know any massive explosions?
Jesus Christ.
Am I missing anything here?
I don't know. I also got to be careful looking at this subreddit I'm looking at because I know people die in these videos. So. Oh, I found it.
People die in these. Yeah, we can't show those videos. So, guys, what do you think about what's going on over in the Ukraine? Want to get some action here in the chat?
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves while me, the host, doesn't talk and looks at his computer.
Fair enough. All right, so I'll just do a little bit of reporting here. United States and its allies on Wednesday. So what they did was they formally rejected Russia's demands that NATO retreat from Eastern Europe, bar Ukraine from ever entering the alliance, and they proposed several areas, including nuclear arms control and limits on military exercises. Well, they were willing to negotiate on those last couple, but in written responses, they just told Putin, go ahead, invade, and see a giant economic crash like you've never seen before, right? So they, of course, proceeded with all this action, and there's tons of destruction. We're going to be showing tons of videos here. We're going to be trying to figure out what's going on play by play for the rest of the evening or the rest of the stream here. Guys, send us likes if you are trying to be a person that sends likes, I guess. We're not living on that stuff.
Well, I mean, send likes if you like the stream. If you don't like it,
yeah,
don't like anything.
Send likes. Send roses if you don't like the stream. Send gifts if the stream sucks.
Okay, so
Just kidding.
What I got pulled up here is
we got some videos up. All right, so we're gonna be facing some videos here, guys. What do you got on YouTube is where we're at. If you guys want to see this stuff full screen, that's where I would go. I'm gonna be turning the screen around. Make sure to follow. Make sure to like.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Getting a little peek behind the curtain here. Hold on.
Peek behind the curtain.
Well, that's shitty. Pay no attention to the man behind the. Okay, well, fuck that. Anyways, so this is Yarkov, Jarkov. I don't know how you pronounce that. I believe it's either Jarkov or Yarkov.
Jarkov.
Don't know. I mean, this is absolutely fucking terrifying.
Jeez, look at that. Imagine seeing that from your balcony. That's some scary ass stuff right there.
That's absolutely fucking bonkers, dude. Like,
so you tell me this is like Putin's just bombing cities and civilians.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they can tap dance around as much as they want.
Doesn't that kind of disbar his little plea of how Russia misses all the Soviet states because they're part of their Russian family and the motherland, and how it's unfair to all those citizens that they were separated and ostracized from Russia during the collapse of the Soviet Union, even though the majority ruled was for them to separate anyways. I mean, they voted themselves out of that. Like, literally, the Russian leader gave them a choice, and they're like, yeah, we'd rather just not.
Yeah, I mean, Putin's just doing whatever he can to justify the attack. Nobody wants the Russians in Ukraine. I got another video for everybody.
Well, no one definitely wants the Russians to be bombing Ukraine, that's for sure.
This is the video I was trying to find. Okay, I'm going to stop the video
look
because
at that one, huh?
I'm not. I believe this is one where they hit a munitions dump, which is why it blows up so insanely. When I first saw this video, I thought it was like a nuke or something. Like, look at how this thing blows up. Like, that is absolutely fucking crazy.
Dude, I bet all the people around there that saw that thought they just got nuked.
Yeah, I mean,
like I would have.
Yeah, that is just otherworldly destruction.
The fact that we're down here on Earth doing this to each other is just pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought that we were like past all this shit. Literally over money and power. That's all it is. I mean, it's not a battle of liberation. Not that most wars of liberation are ever really that simple.
Well, you don't think it's strategy? Like, protective strategy of Putin? I mean, like...
No, I mean, a million%.
He's recently talked about, how obviously... He views NATO like we view the Soviet Union and Russia, right? Trying to take over Ukraine and that the other place that we were talking about earlier. I can't believe I'm spacing the name of it. Who'd they take back over during Obama's term?
Crimea.
Crimea
right. is a part of Ukraine. Well, at least it used to be. Yeah.
Right, used to be. But they're slowly trying to take pieces back, and obviously Ukraine's a solid mass of land for what it is, and what he sees this as is as NATO and the UN they're growing, they're expanding to a point of absolute power, and they see NATO as a kind of divide and conquer type thing. You know what I mean? They stopped the spread of communism. Like, that's what NATO was. It was a defense for the Soviet Union and the spread of communism. They wanted to stop that stuff, right? So we're looking at an opposite side where, if obviously you believe that deeply into the American side, like, you can only imagine the people that believe that deeply into the Russian and the socialist aspect, right?
Right.
So they're seeing themselves surrounded by NATO territory that are all a joint military apparatus that's potentially could just take you out if conflict goes wrong.
Really,
they are losing sense of security.
What it boils down to mainly is that, I mean, NATO's done questionable things in the past as well, but NATO stands for democracy and freedom, to boil it down very simply, and Russia right now stands for authoritarianism. It's really as simple as that. Vladimir Putin is an authoritarian. Granted, there are members of NATO who I would say have leaders that are authoritarians, including Turkey with Erdogan. But at its base level, yeah, that's how Putin will see it, is that NATO is trying to take Ukraine from him and, gonna finish up their whole gather up of all the former Soviet states. But in the end, I think this is going to fail for Putin unless he does the nuclear option, in which case nobody wins. I guess we all lose. But I don't know. Unfortunately, I could very realistically see them just taking Ukraine and then
in that aspect,
being the end of it.
I mean, think about it, because if that's all it is it's I think me and you talked about it, maybe it was me and somebody else, but we're talking about land, right? And in positioning. So when we're talking about this stuff and there's like a certain positioning of mountains, right? Like around Ukraine or something like that, that if Ukraine joined NATO and there was ever a conflict, like, there's almost no escape for Ukraine or for Russia. Like, they used to have land that was surrounded by water and stuff. No, not anymore. They're almost getting completely surrounded, which, if you look at it, like, Putin is almost acting as like a dog, right? Guarding his food. Like, he's sitting there, like, literally people are getting closer and closer and taking little pieces of his food away. Now he's at his last chicken wing. You know what I mean? He's a thin dog. He's shaking. He's cold. Like, he has one chicken wing, and you're trying to reach for it. Like,
and it's not even like the Ukraine does have specific strategic value to NATO, but far, far more value to Putin.
Oh, yeah.
Because without Crimea, without Ukraine, they don't have as much access to the Black Sea. And Ukraine, like you were saying, Jeff, does extend up towards a more mountainous area of Europe that he can use for a natural defense if they did own Ukraine, if they were to be an attempted invasion of Russia, basically.
It's kind of like the Spartans all over again. No one wants to get caught in that overpass.
Sure.
There, man.
In Thermopylae?
Yeah. No one wants to get caught in that, man.
Yeah, I just hope that Zelensky doesn't get got. I hope, the Ukrainians stand strong, which it seems like they are. Russia seems extremely disorganized. But unfortunately, they do have the manpower. So, we're all talking about it now, but it might not end well for Ukraine. Hopefully it does, though.
Right. So what do you buy into some of this disinformation that's out there? Like the disinformation campaigns that are going on with this. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok, which I haven't paid no mind to this stuff. I just find it crazy that there's conspiracy theorists and everything, right? That say that this whole Russian-Ukraine thing is getting blown out of proportion, that there's not actually bombings like that. It's just like, which this gets kind of into the stuff that we talk about, conspiracy theories. Yeah. Which, again, I'm going to say this out loud to everybody, everywhere. I'm going to put my face right on the TikTok just so everyone can fucking see me when I say this. I don't believe in any of these things I'm about to talk about, okay? I don't believe in any of this fucking bullshit I'm about to say. So I've seen a lot about how they're using like HART or Project Bluebeam to simulate all of those explosions and this and that in the background of planted people recording at perfect times, right? Because I've also seen a lot of videos of the people running in the streets of Ukraine, a camera guy, like someone sitting there with a camera, recording a camera guy saying, all right, 1, 2, 3, action. Then all these people run and scream and sprint and they're holding their pets and everything. And it's this big staged video that we saw on the news. There's reused videos from places that, you know what I mean? That have been shown in the news that are saying stuff now. It's a big disinformation campaign, which I think is unbelievable.
I think really what that is just mental illness and schizophrenia. I think it's really fucking depressing that there's people out there that find it so hard to believe that there could be a war going on, that instead the phantom puppet masters of the universe have to be orchestrating, which, of course, there's people at the top orchestrating this war. That being said, people are dying. Like, there's real shit going on. The amount of actors, the amount of shit that you would need to pull this off is so fucking stupid for you to believe that that is what's happening.
And the crazy thing is a lot of these people believe that this is a United States cover-up, mostly to cover up how bad of a President Biden's been. Imagine the United States government collabing with the UN and NATO and being just like, listen, Biden was a bad choice. Let's fake a fucking war.
Well, they would have to collaborate with Russia, too. All these economic sanctions on Russia. Russia would have to agree. That's a fucking thing. A lot of these conspiracy theorists, like a lot of these right-wing nutjobs in America, have to fucking come up with these ideas, these insane fucking conspiracy theories that make no goddamn sense. Like, the amount of people I've seen, well, this is just a cover-up for COVID and the mask mandates in America. Bro, everything that happens on Earth does not fucking have to do with America. Shit happens other places without any involvement from the United States. It's these same people. I heard people during one of his press conferences ask Joe Biden, well, are sanctions the same thing as guns and, like, missiles and shit? Like, what the fuck? Do you want the United States to start a war with Russia over this? You're a fucking moron if you think that we should get involved. It's like...
That is stupid.
It is on another level of stupidity to be like, well, we should start World War III. We have done everything we can to Ukraine. They did not join NATO. They haven't, joined the European Union. There's really nothing else we can do. We don't have, besides a moral obligation, we don't have any obligation to assist. It's shitty, but that's just the facts. If
Right.
like if you're out there, if somehow you were like listening to this and you were going on like conspiracy threads on the internet and reading about how one that I saw this week was that there's biochemical or what is it, biolabs in Ukraine that the United States has set up, that Russia for some reason is like, hey, we'll take care of that for you guys and bomb the fuck out of this country for some reason, unless they're doing it to like get rid of those biolabs. But the real insane thing that nobody has thought of is that these are just biolabs that the United States has sponsored that are Ukrainian biolabs.
I know, we could 100% have funded this stuff.
And people are like,
Like,
why do these strikes? They say they're striking military bases and these infrastructures, but why are there biolabs there? Where in the fuck else would you put fucking biolabs than buy a military installation, you idiot? Like, people like to find these fake causations about things, and it just blows my mind and it depresses me. Nobody cares about COVID or any of this shit as much as the people that think that there's a fucking war happening on Earth to distract you from the fact that you might have to wear a mask.
Isn't that crazy?
It is an insane amount of mental gymnastics to jump from your little preconceived crybaby fucking notions about COVID to being like, well, yeah, hundreds of thousands of people may die in Ukraine, but it's all fake because I have to wear a mask and they want to take my eyes off that. And it's also the same people I've been seeing on Twitter and everywhere else, like, man, if this war really mattered, they wouldn't have to advertise it so much. Like, the reason people care about this war in particular, opposed to most other wars that take place on Earth, like, the war on terrorism was never going to result in nuclear annihilation. These civil wars in Africa are not going to result in nuclear annihilation. The specific reason why everybody's paying attention to this is because there's a very small likelihood, but a probability, however small, that this could result in another world war, which again tends to spark in Europe. So nobody is trying to sell you on this goddamn war, you fucking moron. Like, people are worried about World War III, which, again, real shit happens in the world. Bad people exist. Bad people do bad things to bad people. To good people, I should say. Like, It doesn't all have to be some Machiavellian fucking plan. I think the war is real. I'm going to put that out there. That's how I'm going to end my statement. I think that the war is real. I might be a shill for thinking that, but that's my stance.
The war is real.
Do you agree?
Give us a like in the chat. Give us a W in the chat if you think that the war is real. I'm jumping on that bandwagon. I 100% think the war is real as well.
What are those awards that are worth a shit ton of money on TikTok?
The awards?
Yeah.
They're gifts.
They're gifts, whatever.
Yep.
What are like the big ones called?
Oh, like the Galaxy?
Yeah. Is that like the big one?
Yep.
Yeah, donate a Galaxy if you think Putin's trying to take down the cabal.
Yeah, donate a Galaxy if you think Putin's trying to take down the cabal.
I saw some Galaxy brain fucking moron comment on one of our TikToks earlier about that. He was like, Putin's just doing this to take down the cabal, and had like 10 likes on it. I was like, what the fuck are you people coming in here
on
from
the comment?
Yeah, on the For You page. Who's coming in here saying like, oh yeah, that makes sense. The guy who most likely funded the letter anon conspiracy theory in America is now trying to take down the thing that he is. Because spoiler alert,
crazy.
We're gonna do a big thing, probably won't be for a few years because it'll take some research and it's down the pipeline. But we're gonna do the letter anon video one day and just
let's do it.
Show how it is just like misinformation directed by foreign actors on America and why it's such fucking utter nonsense. Now you got
so
me
guys
hot.
I did get you hot. But if you guys want, I mean, at this point we've covered almost everything that's gone on, from the history, the start of Russia and whole the Soviet Union, the fall of the Soviet Union, We've covered Ukraine's independence, the states that gained independence from the Soviet Union, Putin addressing the UN and his demands all the way up until current day in the invasions, guys. So if you're just joining us now, the whole episode is on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. We went live everywhere tonight, guys. All you have to do is just search What Do You Got Media to kind of follow up on what we did.
We did not go live on Twitch.
We didn't go live on Twitch, so don't check on Twitch. We went live on YouTube as well as here. So go check that out, guys. Look up the channel What Do You Got Media and our new channel Not Safe for Air. Just came out. This is gonna be this actual channel here. Go check that out, man. We'd love to see you guys on there, get some support. But hey, we're just gonna kind of have a little open forum right now. What have you guys seen on Ukraine? You know, like, what are some of the craziest things that you guys have seen?
Also, not for nothing, but next week, if you're interested in talking about war crimes, next week we're going to start the first video of what's probably going to be, I'm going to say like two videos, depending on how long they are. It could even be 3, which we probably won't do over 3 weeks. We'll probably figure that out somehow and like do 2 streams in a week. But we're talking about My Lai massacre.
My Lai massacre, guys.
Yeah, one of the craziest cover-ups, I'd say, of a war crime that happened. And unfortunately, something that when it did come out, kind of, what's the word for it? Kind of perpetuated the baby killer moniker of U.S. soldiers in Vietnam,
right? Which
was horrible because it didn't happen as much as people like to pretend it did. But this specific
incident didn't happen that much.
No, well, but the sad thing is, in every war you do have, dead innocent civilians. But
yeah.
we're gonna do a deep dive on that. Episode 1, probably next week, is gonna be a lot of introductory Vietnam stuff that you need to know for the rest of the video to have context. So look out for that.
So join us for that. We're going to be going live every Wednesday with this. So make sure to tune in. We're going to be going at 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that between each of those. But no, I know that Sam has been feeling a little spooky. He misses Halloween. He missed ghosts. He missed the paranormal. He misses being scared and terrified. So I know that Sam had a little bit of paranormal stuff to talk about. Some cool little video to show.
I don't have a video. Did you want to get into that on this episode?
Yeah, I know that you had a little paranormal thing.
Okay, yeah, let's do this, and then we'll be out of here.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, guys.
I mean, shit, if you want to, man. You want to start a new TikTok video for this? Because it's kind of different.
Yeah. But hey, guys, so we're going to start a new video. Stay around. Give us a follow to get notified. We're going to talk about some paranormal stuff. So give us maybe 10, 15 minutes, and we'll be back on.
Everything, and people on the YouTube, I'm going to go to the Be Right Back screen. We will be back. I'm going to put on the screen starting. It doesn't matter if you're watching this later. I'll probably edit this out, but okay. Yeah. We'll be back in a second.
Hey, guys, so you guys can join the YouTube. Like real live?
Oh yeah, we're live.
We're live.
We're back.
We're back in black in the back of the Cadillac.
And we are going to be talking about, let me put me in my little spooky location here. We talked about all that serious shit with Ukraine, which it's kind of a bummer. So we're going to lighten up the load a little bit. Lighten up the mood. Don't know why I said lighten the load.
Sam's going to lighten the load after this show. Gonna eat.
Not what I thought you were going for with that.
Not live on air.
But speaking about load, we got loads of information coming at you. We got some weird and wild stuff here, folks.
Oh, I haven't even gone live yet. Hold on. There you go. Go ahead.
I'm waiting on Jeff to set some shit up. Hold on. I don't know if I've audibly said this out loud, but I guess I'll still wait for whatever the fuck this guy's finagling with.
Oh, I did something wrong.
Hello?
Hello. It's still named Russian versus Russian Ukraine.
No, you gotta change the fucking name.
I know I do.
That doesn't make any sense.
Hey guys, this isn't the Russian Ukraine show, but obviously if you've clicked on it, you've seen that it says 1971 Peony military base. So you're already on here, so why not?
So we just gonna leave it?
Yeah, just leave it.
Okay, son of a bitch. So today, for the second half of the show, not even a half, just real quick little fun time for everybody on a Wednesday night. I'm gonna be telling you about the 1971 Peony military base. Peony, penny, I don't know. I took 2 years of Spanish, and I only know to say cacahuates, which is peanuts. So the Peony military base was it is a base in Spain, part of NATO. Hello?
Hello?
Are you good?
Yeah, no, dude, keep talking.
Hello?
Hello?
I was just making sure there wasn't any kind of like reverb. Anyways, so at 10:30 p.m. on March 25th, 1971, Jesus Joffrey, along with 2 soldiers from his battalion, spotted a greenish light. When the light disappeared, they began to hear footsteps approaching along a small path that some dogs they had with them indicated to and started barking. A few seconds later, they saw with horror how a strange being more than 2 meters high approached them. As they tried to stop the humanoid, their nerves took over. The strange being ignored the stop sign, and the soldiers decided to shoot. Ignored their stop signals, not a stop sign. And the soldiers decided to shoot. Thanks to a glare... Wait. Sorry, I was just losing myself there. Thanks to the glare of the gunfire, the men were able to see that the creature had a triangular-like belt on, which I think is just such a weird part to put in the story. But after verifying that the bullets did not do any damage to the creature, which must have been the most fucking horrifying thing on planet Earth to shoot directly through something, it was possible on the base's radar that they were reported to that there was a flying object that had taken off from that location afterwards. We don't know what the hell happened to these guys. That's where the story just kind of leaves them, that they shot at this creature. It apparently disappeared and then just flew away. And this incident is recorded by the Spanish military, but the Spanish Ministry of Defense still calls it, like a reserved matter that they won't speak about.
Yep.
Let me see here. Let me pull up the figure for everybody.
Pull it up.
Do I have this saved? I believe I have this image saved. I guess it doesn't really matter. Here, hold on.
Guys, you're here on the TikTok, man. Sam is pulling up some scary stuff over onto the YouTube, and you can see everything he's going to pull up.
Let me pull this mother trucker up here. There he is.
Pull it up.
So this is what was sketched by the men that saw this creature with a little belt on his ass.
On his ass.
All of this is in Spanish. They say it's a triangle, but to me in this image it kind of looks like a Star of David. So take that for what you will. Actually, don't take that for anything. I'm sure it just happens to look like a Star of David.
Yeah, it's probably not the Star of David.
Yeah, let's just hope to God it's not. So let me see here. So that was like really the base level of what happened. If you want, real quick, I can get a little deeper into it, Jeff.
Yeah, dude, jump deep dive into that stuff.
Okay, let me.
I want to hear about it.
Let me set the mood a little bit. This music just ain't gonna cut it. That dog just ain't gonna hunt. Hold on, what we got here? You can't hear this anyways. What the fuck am I even looking at you for? This kind of
I got some scary music on my end for you.
What's that?
Ominous music playing for you the background.
Oh, there's music playing over me talking?
For the TikTok.
Oh, okay, cool. Listen to that, everybody. So, on the night of March 25th, 1971, Jesus Joffrey, then corporal at the EP.4 military base, saw a light in the sky while on surveillance at his post. The light got closer to the base until it stopped just above the radar antennas. Jesus, frightened as shit, warned the rest of his companions who went out to observe the sky and saw the same object. Then, that object shot towards the horizon at incredible speed. After a while it seemed that tranquility had returned to take over the place. These guys realized that behind some booths, a green beam of light was coming out that alerted them, and they decided to go see what was happening. So this thing shot away, but then they saw a green, basically what you can imagine a tractor beam, if you have ever seen a sci-fi movie, is shooting out behind these booths. So they took their equipment, weapons, and accompanied by a dog that they had with them named Fierro, which, what does that mean in Spanish? Fire?
I think so.
I don't think it does.
It could be, but it probably isn't.
It entirely could be, but it's not. The dog
Cat.
Fierro? Maybe it's a dog named Cat. And that's Gato, isn't it?
Is a dog named Cat? Guys, let us know in the chat what Fierro means. Does it mean fire? Does it mean fiat?
We've said it enough times now that it's probably some kind of like racial slur that we don't know. But
oh my god, I hope.
They trained this dog for this type of situation. That's what the research told me. I don't know what the hell kind of situation they trained this dog to hunt down an alien, but whatever. So they went to the place where the light came from. Jesus and two other companions arrived at the site. They began to hear shrill noises inside their heads, while a feeling of discomfort enveloped them. Even Fierro made gestures that indicated that his ears hurt. So they started hearing this, basically a loud ringing buzzing noise in their heads, which is a thing that is often brought up by a lot of alien encounteries and abductees. So they began to then notice that something was approaching them at great speed, with big, rapid, long, brisk steps. Well, I guess brisk would be short, but you get what I'm saying. He was walking towards them very quickly with these long-ass legs. They saw this guy who appeared to be a large shadow, for which they first told to stop, but as it was getting closer and closer to them, the soldiers became afraid for their lives. Jesus tried to halt him again, but without even trying to do a third halt, which I think after the first two, the giant fucking shadow figure that's running at you basically probably is not going to stop. They opened fire on the figure that stopped for just a moment while I was getting shot at, about only 5 meters away from them, and just stood there. Did not react at all. It just kind of stands there while they shoot bullets through it.
What the heck?
Yeah, and it's only 5 meters away from it. 5 minutes away. Jesus. 5 meters away from them at this point. And again, the dog is incapacitated. Its ears are ringing. So at that moment, Jesus was able to see the figure more clearly thanks to the, flashes coming off from their weapons. He describes it as not shadowy anymore, but it seemed to be very angelic looking and humanoid. Very tall. Hold on a second.
Nice, dude. What's that?
It's a LaCroix.
LaCroix, boys. W in the chat for LaCroix.
So, so at that moment, like I said, they were able to kind of see the figure more clearly. Jesus said it looked like very angelic looking, very humanoid, and taller than a human being should be. Probably about like 7.5 feet almost. Very thin, with a white complexion, long hair, and clothes that reminded him of a work uniform with the aforementioned triangle belt buckle in between it. And if you know anything about alien species that people talk about, this sounds, Jeff, a lot like what species that we know of.
The Anunnaki?
No, wrong. It sounds the Geikos.
That's what I said.
The tall whites.
Oh yeah, the Dracos are the stinking aliens, dude.
They're all aliens, damn it.
No, like the lizards, like the Draconians.
Yeah, the Draconians, the Alpha Draconians. That's what
I was thinking of. Sorry, the tall whites.
So what this man sounds a lot like is a tall white, which we have a big story to do on the tall whites one day with this dude that claims that he worked in an underground base in New Mexico with them for years of his life. But so this is the image that we have, and this is the image that I don't remember if I still have up. Oh, this guy right here that I have pulled up behind us.
So guys, for the TikTok, the one that is the background is the artist renderation of the tall white that was seen. Not a tall white man. We're not just labeling the man on his skin color, because we don't do that. But we're talking about the name of the alien.
No, the tall whites are like a race of aliens that are just these tall white spindly creatures, basically, as described by Jesus in our story here. So let me keep going to tell you guys a little story. Oh. Okay, so after the burst of shots, the figure, again, was just standing there still looking at them. After a very tense few seconds, it turned around and disappeared as fast as it had come. The strange thing is that where the figure supposedly came from, and then leaves, there was only a huge drop since the base is built on top of a mountain and there's no trees or anything to block the vision of the soldiers. So what we're saying here is that this thing turns around after being shot through, like looks at the guys, turns around, and then just proceeds to walk off a cliff, basically.
What the hell?
Yeah, and it not even like where they thought that it came from. So incredibly bizarre, but. When these guys recovered from what they had just saw, which probably would have taken me years, they decided to go inspect the area and find that a piece of the fence that surrounds the base is completely disintegrated. Okay, not ripped open, not cut open, nothing, just disintegrated. And at least 2 meters of fence were missing. But the curious thing is that this security fence is made up of 2 fences actually, and only the inner fence was broken, which seems like an entirely bizarre detail of this story. That you have these 2 fences, okay, that the guy apparently was going towards, the tall white, the figure, whatever you want to call it, and just disintegrated a hole in one of the fences, not the other one, and just apparently, I don't know, formed through the second one. But obviously they searched the area, they found nothing. After a few days, Jesus said that everything he had experienced had completely disappeared from his memory, and that it was a companion who had to remind him.
Huh.
Bizarre. This guy experiences something incredibly traumatic and then just forgot about it entirely until a friend of his was
that's not unheard of, though. A lot of people
absolutely not
traumatic things like that. Plus, aliens have a weird way of making people forget, evidence disappear, little things like that. If you've seen the X-Files once, or the Twilight Zone, rather.
Right, yeah. I mean, the X-Files, too. People get abducted in the X-Files, but... I mean, spoiler for the X-Files, it's the government, not aliens, but...
Yeah.
So, U.S. agents dressed as U.S. agents dressed in Air Force uniforms arrived at the base later to question the soldiers one by one to explain the facts, ending the interviews with a clear recommendation that they forget what happened and not give it more importance. So obviously this is another thing we've seen a million times. Just so happens that these supposedly white men, U.S. agents, show up in dark suits, to question the witnesses of a UFO event. I mean,
are they twins?
No, it doesn't say if they're twins, but very clearly referencing Men in Black activity. The weird thing is that all of these stories seem to always have the same progression through them. The soldiers say that what they missed the most about the Americans' visit was that they were asked to take some photos of them, but outside, and they were taken to a place where there was a white wall that reflected the direct sun. And one by one, they took a photo with a very powerful flash. And that was what they did not understand for the photos, and especially for the flash. They did not understand why they had used this flash and this white wall to take these pictures with these guys. And here is the photo that is in question that they allegedly took with these U.S. agents. Well, let me pop it up on the screen. So I don't know if you can see that, Jeff.
Give me a second, and I will be able to. I'm just going to switch from full screen of view over to our YouTube.
Also, shout out to Galen Vasquez, who I'm getting the majority of this information from. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I see it.
Okay. So yeah, for everybody watching on YouTube and on TikTok, these are the men that witnessed the apparition, the entity, whatever you want to call it. And these are also, I didn't change the title for this on YouTube, so anybody joining right now and we're talking about fucking aliens are probably confused as shit. But
this isn't happening in the Ukraine.
This is not happening in the Ukraine.
And the tall whites are not in Ukraine. No.
So, yeah, I mean, that's basically it for the story. About 5 years later, the same exact thing happened, and the God, I'm bad with names. I'm sorry. The Talavera La Real base. That's how you would say it in Spanish, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody knew that there was a story by the other people, because obviously nobody shared these stories with each other. But we don't have a lot of information about that other story. But allegedly it happened again to another 3 group of Spanish military men. So very, very weird and wild stuff, folks.
So one thing I'd like to share a story.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to share a story. I'd like to get this pulled up here. So if you can just give me 1 second, Sam, if you want to throw in any extra fun facts about that real quick while I get this pulled up. For anyone that doesn't know what I'm about to talk about, which is everybody in the entire world except for me, I'm going to be talking about a little form that I found a while ago on Reddit. So it's going to be called Throwawaylian.
Oh God, Throwawaylian.
Yeah, it is.
Oh wait, I don't know if I'm allowed to play this song.
It's 100% called
Son of a
Throwawaylian.
bitch. No.
So we're gonna look up Throwawaylian here. So this, I think this has actually been verified as a hoax, to be honest with you. Well, just because the story gets kind of weird. But let me see if I can find the original.
I mean,
I'll probably never find it.
I was gonna say we could also like save this for another.
Yeah, we'll save this actually.
Stream at the end if you want.
Actually wants to listen to it.
I mean, if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it.
Yeah, I can't find it right now. I'll find it another time. So everybody that just stayed tuned and hung out for me to find this thing, I can't find it.
Yeah, we have been going for about an hour 30, so.
Let's see.
So I'm going to wrap up.
Try one more time to find it. Hold on. I'm gonna try to find it, guys. Bear with me.
Do you want to just do this like TikTok exclusive? You want me to keep the YouTube up, or?
We can do a TikTok exclusive if you want.
Okay. Well, guys, probably shouldn't do that because you should honestly go over to the YouTube channel. But head over to What Do You Got on YouTube. Head over to Not Safe for Air. That's this show, along with any other subsequent content that I'm in the process of working on. I'm a novice video editor, so it takes me a while to put this shit together. Plus,
yes,
the project I'm working on, which you will see come out. Hopefully the first episode will be out in a few weeks. Probably way sooner than that. Probably next week.
Next week, guys.
Takes so much research to do, man. It is insane, but look out for that. Thanks for hanging out on the YouTube. Sorry if you came in and we're talking about aliens and we're supposed to be talking about Ukraine. But
we changed the topic a little bit, guys. Sorry about that.
That's all I got.
Up now, so if you guys missed out on us talking about the Ukraine or Russia or the 1971 Penny military base alien and the tall whites, which are not in the Ukraine, shoot over to that YouTube. What do you got, media? Not Safe for Air. YouTube videos are going to be all up there. Follow us on all platforms, wherever you find your podcasts. You know, we're killing it out here.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got, man.
All right.
So thanks everybody for joining, and have a great night.
All right. Yep. See everybody next week. We got My Lai Massacre, part 1.
My Lai Massacre next week, guys. Send us a follow to get that notification.